Hey everybody, William Petrow from PetrowLine Podcast. This past week we decided to skip, give us some extra time to get some stuff cut and edited, but also just extra time in general. A lot of stuff going on here around the shop. But this Monday's guest is going to be Geoff Stoneback. A lot of you guys know him from Club Loose, Formula D, Gridlife, a bunch of other drifting stuff. He's a downright good dude, good friend, and he will be on this Monday. Check it out. So Geoff, thanks for coming on PetrowLine this week. We've been talking sort of in the background a little bit before we got started on this, but let's talk about let's just jump right into it, and let's talk about your new Chaser build that you got going on.
Yeah, thanks for having me on here. Super excited. I know we played tag a little bit every other weekend, but glad to be a part of this and be on it. Going to the Chaser, short story. Like Rich Whiteman, one of Club Loose homies, he sent me a link on Facebook, and it was like this Chaser JZX 100 sort of matched my Mark II that I have in the States now. And he's like, "Yo, you should get this and we'll tandem." And I was like, all right, let me hit him up. This Andrew Gray from Power Vehicles, and we drove an FD together and we're homies. So I hit him up and he gave me a really good deal, and I was like, all right, done. And then, brought it in, got it legalized and everything like that, and sent a picture to Rich, and I was like, hey, guess what? We are going to tandem. And then I was like, you know what? I built a 15 last year, and the 15 is really cool. But just going to all these events, I have so many people asking for ride-alongs, and I'm just like, all right, how can I nail this down where it's fun for everyone and I can still have fun with all my friends? And I was like, fuck, four-seater drift car. And I worked with my buddies TJ and Mike at One Motion Garage, and they're doing the cage and the seat modifications and stuff like that. I actually stopped by earlier today because our shops are right next to each other, and they're making a lot of progress. So I'm with this whole quarantine, COVID-19, which, by the way, my ADD is so bad that whenever I see COVID-19, I always think of CDO9 transmissions. So it's really bad. But due to this whole quarantine thing, we're sort of like taking our time. And to be honest with you, a little bit enjoys it because, time at home and time, we're just working on cars instead of like half-assing it going to an event and then half-ass fixing it for the next event. But yeah, I'm excited to get it all done. I mean, Tailored Wraps wrapped it to match the Mark II, so I don't think a lot of people caught on that it's different cars, but yeah, it's totally different car. People are like, yo, why are you cutting the Mark II up? It's so great. And like Mitch was like, yo, are you putting over fenders on it? And I was just like, no, man, that's a totally different car. And they're like, oh, like I didn't even know it looks the same. I was like, that's the whole point of it.
Right. Yeah. No, that's cool, man. I mean, like, yeah, I've actually always wanted to build like a drift wagon 4-door or a 4-seater deal. I've been like dying to build like an old Peugeot wagon 4-door or the 4-seater, with like an SR swap. They're pretty common. Well, they're not common to swap SRs into. There's a few people that have done it. But yeah, like when I saw that people were like swapping SRs into those things, I was like, oh man, like my old Peugeot heritage, I better like pick up an old ratty wagon and like make it a 4-door, like a 4-seater drift car, like wagon thing. It'd be fun, So, but yeah, no, I'm down with that. Like, you're going to use that for like Club Loose and Gridlife and stuff mostly. I would imagine Gridlife more than Club Loose.
Yeah, like Gridlife. Honestly, I feel like it's just going to be my car for all the events that I go to because so many people would just ask for ride-alongs. Gridlife's a huge one. There's tens and thousands of people there, and every time people comes up and they're like, "Hey, can I get a ride?" But the sessions are so spread out, because you have all the time attack guys that are going all their classes that it's like maybe 2-hour break in between. So if I can nail like 3 people out in one session and then next session 3 more or something like that, it'll just make everything better for everyone and everyone will have fun. But I think definitely Gridlife, Club Loose. I mean, I only live 45 minutes away, so I'll bring whatever out there. I'm trying to get my wife to bring her S15 out and drift it, but she's like, it's too nice, and I agree with her. You know how English Town can be. That track.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, no, I mean, like, of course, this time of the year for me, it's like, I mean, of course, it was like 7 years ago I built my S13, but that thing was so nice, and I built it as a rally car. That thing was like beautiful. I built it on a rotisserie. The thing was painted on a rotisserie. I mean, the car was painted all over, inside and out. And then like, even after the first rally, the car was like still pristine and perfect. You know what I mean? Like, it was just dirty. And like cleaned it, went to Club Loose, and then like by the end of the year, the car was destroyed.
Yeah. Yeah, that chassis saw a lot of things at Club Loose, that's for sure.
Oh yeah, yeah. That car's been in a lot of walls. It's rolled. It's been on fire. It's been in other people's cars. I mean, me and Fred went head to head, I think, in that car. One day he spun out and I went straight into him. I don't know who else's car. I went straight into their door. I don't know. Stuff happens.
You probably hit me a bunch of times. I think I hit you a bunch of times.
Probably. Yeah. But yeah, I mean, like, that's one thing I want to get out to this year is Gridlife. I haven't even been to a Gridlife yet, so I want to at least go, check it out. I mean, I probably wouldn't go to do the drifting end of things. I'd probably go more for like time attack or something like that. I mean, I have this crazy idea. I want to build an insane S13 coupe, time attack car, but I've got a lot of things in the works right now, and I'll get to it at some point, but I just don't know how soon. So I think for the time being, I'll just use whatever car I can, and maybe go do like their like street level time attack, whatever. Like, maybe I'll just use my Outback. I don't know.
Yeah.
So
we'll swap cars, and you can do a session of drifting, and I'll do a session of time attack.
Oh, dude, that would be awesome. That would be
Yeah.
Yeah, I've actually been thinking about bringing this Subaru. I've got a Subaru. I don't know if you've seen it. You've probably seen it, but you probably don't know what's up with the car. But I've got this old Subaru coupe rally car. It's like a silver and dark blue thing. It's actually a Subaru powered car, but it's got a full Audi Quattro drivetrain in it.
Oh, so it doesn't break.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly. And the car was built in like 1997, so it was before STI had a 6-speed. Subaru had a 6-speed that was like bulletproof. So they had to figure out ways on the cheap end to like make something work. So they took a full Audi Quattro drivetrain, put it in this car, and it's got like a GT28. It's got anti-lag, it's Motec, and all that fun stuff. It's a fun car, but it is a handful to drive. And I've been thinking about bringing that out from time attack too, just because it would be cool, something cool for people to look at. But yeah, maybe we could trade seats for a session on that.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. We'll just have to make sure that our seats have adjustable seat rails and stuff like that, because you're
Right.
taller than me.
Oh yeah, for sure. Yeah. So anyway, yeah, I mean, like, obviously, for a lot of people, that know me. I mean, a lot of people know that you're a Club Loose guy. You've done Formula Drift, but like some of the people that are watching, I know are rally fans, and don't necessarily follow Formula D. But let's just touch on that for a brief second. What year was it that you did FD again? I forget.
Man, I'm getting old. I think we're both getting old. I think when I did Formula Drift, my rookie year was 2014, so 6 years ago.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Yeah, but like the whole thing like about it, I didn't even want to do professional drifting. I just wanted to do a competition and see how it was.
Right.
And the first one that I ever went to was down in Florida at CFCR. I think that's what it's called. I forget what it is. It's like the Central Florida Racing Complex or whatever. It's like
Right.
It's a big lot, and then they just put like K rails in the center and you drift around it. But it's like a third gear high speed entry. And my first competition I ever did, I totaled my car like first lap, like rear end like into the wall. Like it was like Damien Bagley at Englishtown in like 2008 when he smashed his rear end. It was that bad.
Wow.
And I was like, shit, that sucks. Let me try another one. Did another one, and I actually got, I think it was like third place. And I was like, oh, this is pretty cool. Let me keep trying it. And then the next year I did a full year of Pro-Am. It was 2 series in 1 year, and won the championship in both Pro-Ams, like podium like every single time except like maybe 1 or 2. And then the next year just jumped into FD because I was like, fuck, like we're on a train right now, like we might as well keep the momentum going. And it was an interesting experience going from Pro-Am to Pro-1. Like, there's so many things on the back end that no one understands, and like unless you're really in a series like rally or anything like that, you won't understand what it takes to be able to drive on track. But there's so many key factors off track just to get on track that I learned,
Right.
you know, rookie year. But yeah, rookie year I went into FD. The first time I ever drove my car was at Long Beach, like in qualifying.
Oh man.
Yeah, like it was me, Dan Popovich, Mark Lenardin, Vince Hafner, and Pat Dulce from RT, and we were just jamming on this car like 2 months before Long Beach, and we're like, are we even gonna get this done? We literally got the car off the dyno and made like 800 NA, and we're like, fuck, like, hey, it should work. But we blew a throb bearing seal because it was like what was it, quartermaster? Because it was like dog box. So
Right.
sent the car, never drove it. We had it aligned. Only drove it on the dyno, and you know, took it out to California. The truck broke down on the way. Like Popovich was stuck in Texas for 4 days, like
Oh
in the
geez.
middle of nowhere near like San Antonio, where it's like close to the border and stuff. And I found this guy on U-Ship to pick up the trailer and drive it 24 hours to FD. We made it like 2 hours before tech, got teched, installed the livery that night, fixed the throwout bearing, and then had practice the next day. And practice run, clutch broke on the line. So I was like, okay. They towed me out. We found a seal from, I think it was like Odie Bachus. Gave us a seal. We fixed it. First qualifying lap, broke it again.
Oh man.
Yeah. And back then there was like 70 drivers in FD instead of like the 24 that are in there now.
Yeah.
We had like an hour and a half to fix it. And literally the first time I ever drove that car was my second qualifying lap, and I qualified. Like, it was a fucking miracle, to be honest with you. Driving each wall, you know, hitting all the zones, inner and outer. And it was good. It was, you know, successful, and every round just got better and better. And I feel like that was, like, honestly my best year of FD. Even though it was, like, the worst placement I've ever placed. It was, like, 24th place out of, like, 70 drivers. But it was, like, the most fun I ever had in drifting. You know what I mean?
Right.
You know, I have my best friends. You know, they're on my team. I had my wife Linda there. Like, everything was just jamming. And from there, I mean, it was just a great year. Won Rookie of the Year, and you know, kept doing. I think it was like 2 or 3 more years of FD. Second year was good. I was in my S14 again, and went with Achilles Radial on their rig. So that's where I get to know Andy Gray from Power Vehicles with the Chaser. It was him, me, Daigo Saito, Robbie Nishida, and Kenny Moen all on a rig. So it was very diverse, and it was just a fun experience, like hanging out with everyone, because it's all one big family. Like, that's how Achilles is. Like, Sherilyn and Achilles makes it one big family, and it was just amazing. Like, great year on that. And then the next year, I think it was my last year, Forsberg asked me to drive for him. And I was like, oh, sick. Like, I've watched this dude at Englishtown. This is, like, my idol. Let me drive for him. I drove for him. I've worked with MA Motorsports before, but not at like, any race events. You know, they've always helped me with my cars. So it was great working with Ray and Brian, Moose. I brought Jimmy on board. Popovich came on board. And it was a cool year. It was interesting, though. You know, there's some drama politics in it, but it, you know, it is what it is. And that was like my last year, and you know, no hard feelings. It was cool, but you know, I felt like I was at the pinnacle, and I was like, yo, if like this is the pinnacle and it's no longer there, like, I'm not going backwards into drifting. Let me take a break. And so I've been on a break for like 4 years now, I think, because I stopped in 2016, and life's been good, man. I miss FD. I miss being on track. I miss all the drivers, all the FD staff, all the fans, but I feel like the quality of my life is better, less stress. I can go to fun events, like, you know, like we can go to Club Loose, and we can go to Gridlife, and we can go to all the different drift events all over the U.S. and just have fun, and that's sort of what I've been up to, you know.
Yeah, I'm with you on that, man. I mean, I love competing. I mean, I did only, sort of half a season in, U.S. drift as far as drift competition goes. I did 2014 U.S. drift. First two rounds I did Summit Raceway, and I did Wall, FD Wall.
I remember
And
that.
yeah, I think you were there. And but yeah, like I love competing, and from being like a real racer, I'm not trying to segregate like drifting from real racing type of
See,
thing. It's
here's where
just
the podcast goes wrong.
yeah. No,
I'm just
I
kidding.
mean it's one of those things where like I really love drifting. It's a lot of fun. I like going to other tracks. I like competing. Drifting. It definitely pushes you as a driver. I like the whole aspect of it. I like how other drivers are usually supportive of each other, even though you're racing your bros, and like, you might lose to them or they might lose to you. Like everybody's still like high fiving at the end of the day, which I think is awesome. But coming from like, racing sense of things where like I'm racing a clock or I'm racing other people, wheel to wheel or whatever, for me, I love racing, but I love going to just like fun events, just like chilling at Club Loose, having a good time, drive with whoever. It's not really like a there's no like format or formula to like the day. You just go out and you drive, and you have fun, and I really like those events, more than racing sometimes.
Oh
you
yeah.
know, Racing is just so stressful, like you were saying, like it's when you're on a schedule, when you've got event after event, you have a big wreck at one, you got to get to the next one a couple weeks later or whatever it may be. It's so stressful. It's so much of a pain in the ass, and like it's so tiring,
Yeah. No, it definitely is. And like going off of that, in like the 3 years that I did FD, I beat a lot of top drivers. You know what I mean? Like Osmo, Tanner Faust, Turret, Gushy, Forrest Wang, Odie. Tons of drivers that I've looked up to and battled and beat. And like, I don't think a lot of people know, but I have a daughter and she's 8 now. So my biggest thing is like being around for her. You know what I mean? Because
Yeah.
I don't want to be like one of those dads that's always gone and then she grows up with daddy issues. You know what I mean? I see it with like my sisters. My dad always wasn't around, so I just want to make sure that I'm around, especially in like the younger important years.
Yeah.
That was like a huge factor of me not going back. But like you said, like there's time and I'm less stressed, so it's like, why even do that? You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I can guarantee you, if I was doing FD, I'd probably only have like 2 drift cars, but I've got like a bunch of different cars from show, street, drift, that it's like, this is what I like and this is who I am. I never did FD to be like famous, popular, or whatever. It wasn't for money. I just wanted to see how awesome I could be as a driver. I know if I spent time away from my family and put money into it, I could win a championship one day. But also at the same time, I'm like, bro, I'm like 34. I'm trying to like enjoy life. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I'm not going to just blow all this money trying to go prove something. I'd rather spend like a 16th of that money and go drifting with my friends, come home and hang with my family and friends, and then just do it the next day instead of traveling all the time. So I miss it. I might go back, and do Pro 2 just because I miss the driving aspect. But I love where I am now, solid job, some time with friends. I recently bought a house. I've been buying stupid fucking cars all the time. I'm not complaining. I love FD. I miss FD, but I'm happy I did it, and I'm happy where I am now. So we'll see where it goes. But
yeah, for sure.
Many other fun events out there. It's like, what's the point,
Yeah, no, I'm with you, man.
It's an event.
Yeah, I'm totally with you. I mean, it's part of the reason why, like, I've sort of stepped away from rally for a little while, because it's a lot of money. It's a lot of time away from like, for me, I don't have, a daughter or son yet, but, I got married last year, and for me, it's more or less like now it's like I do want to get back into some form of racing, but I'm trying to do it like you're saying, like trying to be somewhat local, be able to come home. I've got my shop I've got to worry about, my shop, my online store, so I mean I've got all these other things that I want to take care of, but it's I always have this feeling like I want to get back out there and go like actually run a full championship, rally or whatever it may be. But, at the end of the day, it's like you said, you spend a 16th, you could have a bunch of different cars. You could still be home, see all your friends, your family. And, that's what's important. So, but yeah, so like on that note, what do you got planned for this year? I know like the CD09 disease is getting to you, but
yeah, I know that virus. It's, shitty Nissan transmissions that break on you all the time.
But yeah, I mean, like, with hopes of events coming back around, like, what do you have planned? What do you think you're going to get to this year?
See, it's tough. I had the Gridlife's planned out, obviously. Club Loose, Lock City, Final Bout, some events out in NorCal with like the animal style dudes. But now that everything's like going on, like, I don't know, Pennsylvania right now is super weird, quarantined until they say May 8th, but will that be end of May?
Yeah, I hope not.
I hope not either. It's tough to say, like, I want to do Gridlife Colorado, but I don't want to take time off of work, and I was going to have my transport guy, Miguel, help me out with that. But I don't, like, to be honest, I'm scared of flying a little bit, just because it's like, you're literally stuck in a, like, fucking germ tube with like 70 other people that you have no idea where they come from.
Yeah.
Plus, like, I think being Asian during the CD09 virus isn't helping either. So
yeah,
that's like another thing too. I don't know. I think I might just like I might do Midwest and do Colorado next year, but I'll probably do like events that I'll drive to that take 14 hours max, so I can at least drive there, take 3 days off. Like drive there, event, drive back.
Yeah.
So Gridlife, Lock Cities, Final Bouts for sure.
Yeah. I don't know about the whole flying thing right now either. I feel like it's a bad move, So, but
I found a car actually out in California. One of my buddies from Storm Auto Collect, Roy, he was selling his S13, and I bought it off him because I was like, oh, this will be a perfect California car. Like, I've rode in his car, I've seen his car, I've seen him drive his car. I know it works. I was like, oh, sick, let me get this. And then I'll keep it out in California. And now I'm like, I don't know when I'm ever going to go out there. I'm just shipping the car back, and I'll go over it over here, which will be cool because then I'll just ship it back out. But I was like, man, that's going to suck if it's just sitting there for a year. I want to at least enjoy it instead of just look at pictures of it, that my friends send me. So, it's tough to say. It's real tough.
Yeah. I'm with you, man. I've thought about owning cars in like different locations, and like, I don't know, I just like working on my own stuff, and I like it being in like my own shop, and like,
oh, for sure.
Yeah, it's I don't know, it's tough. I don't think it's something that I could probably do. I'd have a hard time doing it.
Yeah, well, that's also why I'm like, let me just ship it back,
Yeah, no, that's a good idea. So, but anyways, let's wrap it up here. If you guys want to find Geoff online, we'll post up his his Instagram online so you guys can follow him if you don't already follow him. And you can see his adventures that he's got going on this year. And we want to thank our supporters and sponsors, Broken Motorsports, Bleeding Tarmac for putting on the show, and Hermes Digital for doing some of the stuff online, and RedLine Studios for the time being that we were there. But when we get this COVID CD09 wrapped up here, we'll
do one at the track. How about podcast at the track?
Yeah, we'll either do a podcast at the track, or we'll have you come by the shop or something, and we'll do something legit there. But yeah, for sure, man. Sounds good. Thanks for coming on. I appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for having me, dude. I appreciate it.
Yeah, man. Take care.
All right, I'll see you.
way to unify it. That's the thing. Yeah, that's that outfit. It is.